Assalamu alaikum. So the microbiology practical for today is urine complete examination. Okay, so urine complete examination is important for the diagnosis of a number of diseases and for the management of those diseases as well, which includes the diseases of kidney or urinary tract diseases or some of the metabolic diseases like diabetes mellitus or diabetes insipidus. Then we need to know that what is the sample size of collection and where are we going to collect the urine sample. So first of all, 10 to 20 ml of midstream urine should be collected in a sterile wide necked container which should be leak proof. Okay, so we are going to divide the urine analysis into three categories: the physical examination of the urine or the physical analysis, then we have the chemical examination or chemical analysis, and lastly we have microscopic examination of urine or microscopy of the microscopic analysis. So in this practical today we are going to talk about physical examination along with the biochemical analysis, while the microscopy part we are going to discuss in the next week. So among the physical characters we will be talking about the volume, color of urine, odor of urine, specific gravity of urine, while in biochemical analysis we look for the pH of urine, glucose, protein, ketone bodies, nitrite, urobilinogen, bilirubin, and blood in urine. While in microscopic examination we look for the RBCs, WBCs, casts, crystals, and epithelial cells. So the specimen or the sample that we're going to take. So the first morning specimen is preferred. It is the most common type and it is good for observing the physical as well as the biochemical analysis. Then why is it important? Because it is concentrated urine, as the bladder incubates it the whole night, and it is best for the nitrate, protein, urine culture, and good for microscopic examination as well. So it has a lot of advantages. It is used for the quantitative estimation of the urinary components. Now 24 hours specimen is used for albumin, creatinine, and VMA or vinyl mandelic acid. Then we have 2-hour specimen which is good for the urobilinogen. Okay, after taking the sample, we are going to label it, as we already have one sheet which has some of the some of the characteristics that we need to mention on the slip. And so after collecting the specimen, we're going to label the container with the name, the age, the sex, the date, the time of collection, and the type of the test required of the specific patient. Then urinary decomposition occurs quickly in warm temperature, therefore fresh sample is required. You need to take the sample immediately, and then that fresh sample is sent to the laboratory for the examination, rather than keeping it and delaying it, because delay may alter the results as well. If delayed for more than 1 hour, we are going to add boric acid 0.5 grams per 10 ml and keep it in refrigerator to preserve it. And then longer standing time can lead to false results, as disintegration of leukocytes, proliferation of bacteria. So it is very important to use fresh urine samples. Okay, so the routine examination, as I told you, consists of physical examination, the biochemical, and the microscopic examination. So among the physical examination, we have some of the particulars that we're going to talk about. So first of all, there is volume, color, appearance, and odor. So the volume, the normal 24 hours volume of urine depends upon the intake of fluid or on the weather as well. If there is excess heat, of course there is more water loss by sweating, so the urine volume will be less, while in winters, as the volume loss by skin is less, so hence the volume of the urine will be more. So the reference range is 800 to 2000 ml per 24 hours in adults, day to night. Now there are two terminologies, polyuria and oliguria. Poly means excess, olig means less. So polyuria is a term which is defined when urine is more than 3000 ml per 24 hours or more than 3 liters. It occurs in excess fluid intake or CKD, chronic kidney disease or diabetes or renal disorders, some of the other renal diseases. While oliguria, in which the quantity of the volume or the urine volume of the urine is less, when urine is less than 500 ml per 24 hours. So it occurs in dehydration, in renal insufficiency, in chronic renal disease, and shock in urinary tract obstruction. Now the color. So the normal color ranges from pale yellow, as you can see here, from pale yellow to amber, deep amber, depending on the concentration. This color is due to the urochrome and urobilin. So color varies with the specific gravity, highly concentrated urine, and due to some of the diseases. So as the color is going to get darkened, it shows that the urine may be getting more dehydrated, maybe because the patient is more dehydrated, while if you're well hydrated, the color of the urine is always light. Now the appearance, so the fresh urine is clear. It may become cloudy on standing due to the presence of these elements: amorphous phosphate, urate, calcium oxalate, or fats. While abnormal urine is turbid, it is due to the presence of pus, blood, bacteria, or milky white urine indicates presence of fat. So as you can see, this is shown, the test tube shows clear urine in which you can read the letters or the writings that are mentioned behind, while in slightly cloudy there is a bit blurred vision of the writing, but still you can have a look of it. While in cloudy, again you can guess there is something written in it, but you can't specify what it is written because of the cloudy nature of the urine. While in turbid, it's totally opaque, you can't see what's written behind. Okay, now the odor or the smell. So the normal smell is aromatic. It can change depending on the intake of drugs and food, and its smell is fruity in the presence of bacterial decomposition. Maple syrup smell is a specific type of smell which indicates the presence of pus in the urine. Okay, so that was all about the physical examination. Now talking about the biochemical examination. So the chemical examination of urine is done to screen the urine sample for the presence or absence of certain substances. For example, glucose, nitrite, leukocytes, proteins, ketones, blood, bile salts, and pigments. And it also includes pH and specific gravity. So this is a semi-qualitative test. Okay, so talking about the biochemical parameters of or biochemical analysis of the urine, first of all we'll talk about the pH. So the normal pH ranges from 5 to 6.5. So the normal urine is slightly acidic. pH is important screening test in renal failure and respiratory diseases. Now specific gravity, so the normal range is 1.010 to 1.025, and it is important in the diagnosis of fever, vomiting, dehydration, and kidney disease. It can be determined by urinometer and reagent strip. Now leukocytes, the reference range for leukocytes is less than 10 leukocytes per microliter, which can be normal. Borderline is 10 to 20 leukocytes per microliter. And pathological line is more than 20 leukocytes per microliter. That means if there are more than 20 leukocytes per microliter, that is pathological. It is important guide in inflammatory diseases of the kidney, in UTI, or the bacteria in the urine converts nitrite into nitrate. So nitrites, bacteria-free urine doesn't contain any nitrite. So this line which I mentioned here should be in this nitrite segment. That's a mistake. Bacteria-free urine doesn't contain any nitrite, and if nitrite is detected, it shows that there is presence of bacteria in the urine, which indicates UTI or urinary tract infection. So the reference range is less than 10 milligrams per deciliter, and is found in the urine in case of hypertension or UTI. Now glucose, so the normal adult range is 130 milligrams per deciliter per 24 hours, and the reference range in fasting state in the morning urine is less than 20 milligrams per deciliter. In daytime it is less than 30 milligrams per deciliter. So the determination of glucose in urine has a very high diagnostic value in diabetes mellitus, because if you found glucose in urine, which is called glucoseuria, that means the patient can be diabetic, early diabetic. Glucoseuria develops when tubular reabsorption of glucose in kidney is exceeded. Now ketosis. In case of ketosis, 50 microgram per 24 hours in urine, ketones are present in urine, and this may appear in steatorrhea, prolonged vomiting, low carbohydrate diet, high fat diet. Now bilirubin, as you all know that bilirubin is a pigment which is produced by the decomposition of the hemoglobin. So bilirubin is if it's above the normal range, it may detect some of the diseases. So the reference range is less than 1 milligrams per deciliter, and it is required for the detection of jaundice, viral hepatitis, liver tumors, congestion of liver, toxic liver damage. Reference range in adults is less than 0.2 milligrams per deciliter, which is the normal range. The bilirubin present in urine is called bilirubinuria, and it can occur in cirrhosis of liver, hepatitis, fatty liver, and bile acid production. Now hematuria. Hematuria is actually blood in the urine. It is defined as blood in the urine. Now there are two types of hematurias. They can be a gross or visible hematuria, or it can be a microscopic hematuria. So the gross hematuria is when the urine appears to be pink or red in color. It indicates blood in the urine, and that's visible by naked eye. While microscopic hematuria, normally looking at it, you can't see the color of the urine is normal, and you can't see any RBCs in the urine. Yet in microscope, the RBCs can be detected or blood can be detected, and hence it's termed as microscopic. So some of the causes of the hematuria include kidney diseases or cancers, cancers of the urinary tract infections, autoimmune hemolytic anemia, intravascular hemolysis, and the reference range is 0.5 erythrocytes per micron liter. Thank you.